By now, you have decided to purchase the new or used, or either you're going to go with the trailer or the motorhome or a Class A or B or C. So let's focus, let's say that you have decided to purchase Class A motorhome. What have we learned so far and what you may what you may benefit from? Before you set out to pick up your RV, your motorhome, and write the check, one of the first things you should do, perhaps, in the climate of COVID and all this screw up going on right now, is actually consider what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to put it? Storage right now is a problem. So if you think you're going to be buying a motorhome down the road, you got a few months to go, I would look around if you're looking to store indoors in particular, and try to get on as many waiting lists as you can, because chances are, depending where you live in the country, that indoor space is limited or not available at all. Some areas of the country you may find some outdoor storage facilities where you can park your coach for on the gravel or whatever, but of course if you're up north, then that may not be an option. But just be aware, the storage is something that you should start very early, months before you bring the coach home, especially since 99% of the time you will not be able to park this at home. There's a very few people who have an RV garage or you live out of town that you can park your coach in front of you. But for most people, if you live in the city or urban areas, you will have to find a place to park it. Let's talk about the financing. This is something that we learn by talking to our financial planner, and they kind of open eyes to us. I originally thought that why would people finance the motorhomes? Why would someone finance a recreational vehicle? That's something you just write a check and you buy. But is that a best thing to do? If you're going to pay cash for it, what are you going to go about? Do you have $150,000, $200,000 in the savings? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Do you need to sell some assets, maybe some stocks, bonds, Bitcoin? That takes a few days, but is that a best move? Or financing, be aware that the bank, your favorite bank, your BB&T, your Bank of America, your USAA, whatnot, may not finance motorhomes. They may finance your mortgage, your cars and whatnot, but the motorhomes is another beast. We do a lot of banking and insurance with the USAA. We love it. It's a great company. But when I checked on the website, do they provide a mortgage? Do they write mortgages for motorhomes? The website says yes. When I called and inquired about it, they're capped at $35,000. Well, you can't buy much of a motorhome for $35,000. I mean, my engine costs more than that. So keep that in mind, that your favorite bank may not offer financing. So if you want to go finance it, do some research online what banks or financial institutions specialize in RV financing, and your interest rate is not going to be that low. You're probably looking between 5, 6, 7% based on your credit and whatnot. But that's the one option. The other option is if you have something to sell, a liquid asset that you can sell, Bitcoin, stocks, bonds. But is that a best investment? Is that a best option? What are you earning right now? Are you earning 10% a year? Do you want to forego that and sell so you can buy the most depreciated assets in the planet, which motorhomes are? So keep that in mind. Your motorhome, if you're buying a new, will lose up to 40% your very first year. And on an average, you are losing 10 to 15% a year in loss of value. So keep that in mind. Motorhomes are not investments. They are luxury item or toy or whatever you want to call it. It's a recreational vehicle. Use it as such, but keep in mind it's not investment. So how should you finance it? If cash is not the best option, because you can earn, in today's market, you can earn 8-10%, not very difficult to do that. How should you finance it? One option might consider is considering the low interest rates on home mortgages. Do you have any equity in your home or your rental property, commercial property, piece of land that you own? Consider refinancing that and using the proceeds from that refinance to purchase your motorhome. Current rates are about 3%, so that is pretty cheap money. Certainly half interest rate what you will get if you go out to ask to purchase a motorhome, an old used motorhome, or even a new one. So 6% versus 3%, you do the math. Another things to consider is your insurance. Again, we use USAA insurance for our rental properties, for our homeowners, for cars and different things. We love USAA, but they do not insure motorhomes. So you need to do some research. So perhaps AAA, Good Sam's is a good place to look. They are, if you're going to be RVing, the Good Sam's is a probably good membership to sign up for. Geico probably writes insurance. So do some research online, but just consider or remember that your favorite insurance company may not cover your motorhome. So you need to line that up before you set up. When you are picking up your motorhome, that's not the time to call your insurance company and say, hey, I purchased such and such a vehicle. I'd like to add it to my policy, because they simply may say no. So you may be kind of stuck waiting and researching on the spot. So do your insurance, find your insurance, write the policy, pay the premium or whatever before you set out to go pick up your motorhome. Once you do find the motorhome that you like, whether it's a new, used, or dealer or private, giving a small deposit, perhaps $1,000, is a good way to start. You get your stuff organized, give yourself about a week to get your insurance lineup and all that. Then you go and pick it up. If this is your first motorhome, you might consider having it inspected. If you narrow it down, you know the model, you know the year, the floor plan, and got all those things. One of the things to consider, spending money on inspection, which is anywhere from $400 to $500 if you can find a reputable dealer or mechanic, may be well spent, because the motorhome is a large purchase, and if you're not familiar with many of the systems, it might be money well spent. A couple other notes: as you have arranged your financing, you got your money lined up, you got your insurance, and you're driving to pick up your motorhome. Smart thing to do is your dealer or your seller will walk you through, show you how everything works. You will not remember it. There's so many systems that you are not familiar with, especially if this is your first motorhome. So bring the camera when picking up the motorhome. Bring the camera, have a seller, whoever he is, walk you through the systems and film it, record it. It will help you later to find out how to turn on the level, even how to start an engine, how to start driving, or open the slide outs, or turn the heat on, or whatever. There are many systems that you know nothing about, and recording something will be very beneficial. So take the time to do that just for the future, because it makes it a lot easier. If your motorhome is a few hundred miles away, you should also consider bringing up some cash on the side or a few credit cards. You'll find out that most credit cards are limited to either $75, $90, or up to $100. So when you pull up to the gas station or diesel truck stop and you start pumping diesel, you find out that your credit card will stop after maybe 30 gallons. And you're like, whoa, I got 150 gallon tank. So on our pickup, we ended up using 4 credit cards because they were either capped at $75 or $90 or $100. So we wanted to fill up. We thought it was the cheapest diesel around, so we wanted to fill up. But you needed a few different credit cards, or maybe a few $100 cash may not be a bad idea to have with you as well. Just something to keep in mind. Another point: Starbucks. This is what I call a $10 Starbucks. Why $10? Because you see it on the app, you're driving on the interstate, you see there's a Starbucks, you want to turn in. Well, not every Starbucks, or most of them, are rig friendly. So you're not going to be able, this is not a drive-through kind of operation, so you have to find a large area to park, and some Starbucks are just not going to work out for you. So I'm calling it a $10 Starbucks, because by the time you pull over, you're idling the engine, you park a quarter of a mile from the shop itself, and by the time you get that cup of coffee, you gotta spend an hour, and probably a gallon of fuel or so and whatnot. So yeah, I called it a $10 cup because the Starbucks is no longer easy to stop for. Finally, get yourself good RV mapping system. Either it's on your phone or maybe a good Garmin, and you're probably end up buying a good Garmin. I think we have one, it's a 700 series. Basically what it does, it's specifically designed for trucks or RV, where you input the length of the vehicle, the height, the weight, and those type of measurements. So the GPS will keep you on the safe roads. In other words, you're not going to find yourself with a low clearance overpass or a bridge that is too low rated for you. It's going to be 12-ton bridge and you weigh 30 tons, so that wasn't going to work, and you can't be making a U-turn on the road. So have yourself a good Garmin, RV or truck Garmin with you, when you, especially if your coach is a few hundred miles away, because you may not know the roads and whatnot, and they will come in handy, because there's no worse situation than you drive up to the bridge overpass and is 12 feet high and you have a 13-foot tall coach. So that's a problem. So good GPS, have it with you, ready to go. And finally, as you're picking your coach, ask the seller, dealer, to dig up all the manuals, receipts, any type of record that came with the coach, or the maintenance records or anything of that kind, because like I mentioned earlier, with so many different systems, it is nice to have manuals, blueprints, maintenance records, because that will come in handy down the road. So have those records, ask for it, or write yourself a note. Maybe if the records are not within the coach, maybe the seller has it in the back in the office or someplace else, but you definitely would want those for the future. Consider subscribing to our channel and follow us down the road. Thanks for watching.